So as far as fasting and breatharianism, it's more a state of realizing than removal or trying. Because again, heaven itself is the loss of the concept of a boundary. It's the same thing with breatharianism. Like, once you realize how infinite you are, there is no separation between you and anything. That's for one. But also on top of that is that the body is always feeding because the body is the producer. So you're trying to observe your cycle fully and totally. You're totally focused on your cycle. You're not even trying to do anything. You're not trying to change it, not trying to be breatharian tonight. You're trying to totally pay attention to your own cycle until you see the windows of change where you can, and the window is like, okay, you make this window of change, or you have this window where you can make change in different points in your day where you say, oh man, I could smoke right now, or I could do some conscious breathing and create some distance or space between me and that. Or I could, instead of eating, I could do some conscious breathing and balance my elements and put some space between it. And then as you gradually do that, then the space gives you perspective. But you have to pay attention to your cycle. Totally. You have to totally be aware and focused on your cycle, or you'll miss it. So it's always about staying in the now so you don't lose now, so you don't stay in this constant comparing. The comparing of other people always comes from you comparing, like, oh man, a year ago I did this and I hate myself now because I'm in this spot. But as soon as you're thinking about that, you're losing the now. So as you lose the now, you're creating another year from now where you're like, damn, I was forgetting about the now again, and now I'm just robbing Peter to pay Paul again because I was robbing myself of the moment. And now, it just comes from you're just having a debt to yourself, and then outwardly, that expression expresses itself. So as you realize the body's always feeding, that there's no end or beginning to anything in a state of infinity. You see the windows, and you don't feel that. You don't try to push a bunch of change through the window. You don't try to push too much through the window. It's like it's a pressure thing where it's like you don't want to break the window and try to do too much fasting or too much fruit or whatever it is you want to do, because regardless, your stomach's the size of your fist, so that's what we should be eating in one sitting, and they should be at least 3 or 4 hours apart, one sitting. But that's just regardless of that, we have windows in life in your day where you can make changes. So it's just like if you fill your bowl to the brim, it's going to spill. Or if you totally empty your bowl, your emotions will spill. So you're realizing like, oh, the bowl is full because all space is filled. Or you realize there is no bowl and that all is all, or all is null, however you want to look at it. Because all movement is a reflection of the immovable. So because it's just funny, it's just like anything. It's like anything, it's all stemming from the immovable. It's all stemming from the emptiness. The nothing creates the something. The non-being births the being. So you're getting to that state of awareness to where you can totally see life, and then you see the whole picture of yourself, however you want to look at it. But it's not to say like your whole picture where with every footstep everyone's taking in the world. It's that you get your view. It's not like, because like they say, he who stands on tiptoe doesn't see far. It's or doesn't stand grounded, because you're trying to see further than what you're trying to show yourself in the moment. Accept what you're trying to show yourself now. Pay attention to that fully, and then you'll be prepared for the next step. But when you try to see further, you miss right now. So it's the same thing. It's just the process of realizing like, wow, I've always been breatharian because the food is fake. I've always, if I've been damaging my body this whole time and I'm still alive, then, how is this the case? How have I been eating fake food and not breathing for years and not really drinking, water, not really being hydrated? Like, because you're just taking on water to hold weight because you're countering the acidity of your food. So, you maintain water weight, your organs swell. You're not really hydrating to flush garbage out. I mean, you are, it's what your body wants to do, but people are so caught up in the cycle that they just want to use the water to keep the cycle going, just to keep the, to stay in that comfort zone, that daily comfort zone of, I ate this, now I got to do this, and it made me dehydrated in this way, and now my thoughts all seized up in this way, because your brain gets dehydrated and your thoughts are dehydrated and your thoughts are more thirsty. So it's just that real, just realizing that you've always been breatharian. Everyone already is breatharian. We've been so far from that realization, that we really feel like that there's something that outside of us that can give power. And as we give the power outside, it's becoming more unconscious and more, the power of life and the will of life and the flow of life is becoming outside of us. Then we're getting more and more crushed because we're pushing all our will outside of this body. So I don't understand why people identify with this body, then give away all the power of it to crush it in an external vicarious way. I guess just so you can stay in a blame game, so you can keep creating devils, so you can keep coming back, so you can stay comfortable, so you can stay in that state of comfort, of being the beast. That's the only thing that makes sense, I guess you could say, but if it don't really make sense, so I can't trust it, you know what I mean? And ROYALT512 at yahoo.com for consultation. For the PDFs, you can get 3,400. And if you want to come fast in Kings Canyon, California, R But Vegan on Amazon for the paperback books and for the for the ebooks.